What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Streets to Sweets podcast.
Where the streets represents the paths we all take to reach our pinnacle, man. We appreciate you guys tuning in for another edition of this that we are so happy to bring to you every week. Been a while. Well, we've been behind by like a week, you know what I'm saying? Had to get the Super Bowl out the way.
Don't lie, and some technical difficulties.
Had some technical difficulties too. And, you know, maybe my Eagles lost, so.
Two technical difficulties.
Two technical difficulties. Okay, I hear you. But we're back again, man. We're good. Got another great guest for you guys. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that Jerron knows well. So
Absolutely.
Introduce him.
Absolutely. I have the pleasure today to bring in my brother. You heard the earlier episodes, I talked about that 550 lifting group. This is a daily member of that group, college teammate, great friend of mine, and part of my circle of influence. So today we got Jalen Holly, the one and only.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate the invite. No question.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on, man. So.
No question.
Yeah, man. So, since, I know a lot about you, so I kind of know where to guide this, but let's just start with introducing yourself to the people, where you from, what you're into, some things you are focused on and goals you have in life, really.
Nah, solid. Yeah, I'm from Hot Springs, Arkansas, born and raised. Basically, I some things that I'm into, man. I grew up playing football. That's always been my passion. Sports in general, just always been my passion. As time has gone, I've drifted towards that golf.
Yeah,
Hey, man, golf. We'll talk about that later. But golf is something serious. But
sure.
Drifted towards that. But mainly, man, I focus on at this moment just life, trying to get to that mastery of real estate. Make sure my wife is taken care of. Just pretty much the whole nine. Just my circle of influence. Just making sure I'm being a good person, good friend, just all the way around, human being.
Yeah. Now, so when you talk about football, you can't leave out the part you were you got an honorable award, a really good award in Arkansas. What is that for the people watching, so they could go look that up?
So, so Arkansas, I was the top. I was the top 5A defensive player of the year, my senior year. So I got that. Man, I had some. I was all right.
Yeah.
I was doing some things. But I mean, it's Arkansas, so
Yeah, he's not too far from the hometown.
Yeah, he talked about earlier. He's from Texarkana, so yeah, that's right there.
I keep saying when I'm talking to Chaz about Texas and Arkansas, I keep assuming or thinking that Texarkana is Arkansas, and he keeps saying, "No, I'm on the Texas side. I'm on the Texas side."
Gotta make it clear.
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's funny because like when you riding through Texarkana, everything, restaurants, all the good stuff on Texas side. As soon as you hit that Arkansas state line, it's just like
that poverty sets in.
It get darker.
Yeah, them roads get bumpy.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet.
No,
so, all right. So we're all athletes here. Chaz, if y'all didn't know, attended the University of North Texas, and then me and Holly were teammates, both wide receivers. So defensive player of the year, but came to ULM and they just turned you to a wide receiver.
Yeah. So I actually got recruited. Coach Reffitt actually recruited me for both sides. He wanted me. He wanted me.
That was my DC. Yeah.
Oh, Coach Reffitt. Okay. Small world.
Okay.
So Coach Reffitt wanted me to play defense, but I went on the trip. I saw Centarius. I said, "Nah, man.
Yeah,
I'm going to play offense because you got to have a different mind playing defense." So
Centarius was our running back, and dude was in college and looked like he probably already went to 4 or 5 Pro Bowls.
No question.
400, squat 600.
No question.
So, Chaz, what was your journey like at UNT?
So for me, it was a little bit different. I actually went to MSU at first. And
Okay.
I transferred in. When I tried to transfer in, they didn't have any other spots, scholarships left over.
Yeah.
So I basically had to try out. You know what I mean? So I went through the whole walk-on process. After I ran my 40, it was pretty much, humbly, it was pretty much a done deal. But, took that route. Had to sit out the first year. And, after that, a couple other things kept holding me back. But eventually it all played out the right way.
Well, I will say this. I watched both of y'all's highlight tapes and compared to y'all, I don't know how I got a scholarship. I got lucky.
Yeah.
But, God knew what he doing.
It's just like we talked about when we was watching them, you know what I'm saying? If you would have been at probably either one of our schools, you would have been.
Damn, you peaked at the right time.
I did.
That's what
I
it's
peaked
about.
in college.
It's about peaking at the right time.
Yeah, when them scouts go around. So,
Yeah.
okay,
No doubt.
cool. So Holly, obviously you started off, you was playing sports. That was a big part of life. Earned a scholarship. What was that recruiting process like? With you having that accolade, were universities rolling in, or what did that look like for you?
So I had a couple universities rolling in. It wasn't nothing crazy, but they were Division I universities coming in. And like in Hot Springs at the time, like we had some people go D1, but not from my school, right? So like when people started coming in, I mean, high school, you the guy.
Yeah, facts.
You know how that started happening, like but it was nothing short of a blessing though, man. When got offered a scholarship, like I was like, man, it's a go. And then after that, I'm like, well, I mean, I just need to graduate at this point because I got college to look forward to, man. And it's nothing like being in high school, knowing you can enjoy your high school because you have something else that's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so when in that circuit was training or going to camps, because I'm sure we're gonna have some young athletes that come across this who want to know, was going to camps or training, was that a big part of your routine, or were you just like a naturally gifted athlete?
Nah, so actually I started going to like combines. Like that's I really wish I would have gone to actual more like honest like school camps.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I would have got noticed more if I would have done that, but I went to a lot of combines, and him. I'm not the fastest guy.
Not at all.
So,
But you get open. You got open.
I get open. But I think like at least doing the combine and just getting my name out there a little bit, like people started actually seeing something when they actually came and watched me. I'm balling. So it was solid at that time.
What you think about and both of y'all? What do y'all think about how the training is now? Like with social media. I'm seeing athletes I'm following from like 8th grade, and then they end up first round, second round.
It's crazy now. Like it's like especially in my hometown. Like when I graduated high school, like nobody was really getting like looks or anything like that. So like coaches weren't really coming. So I went, like you said, to like the school camps. I went to Texas. I went to ULM. I don't know how they didn't offer me.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They actually were going to, but that's when
all the coaches.
But I went to Lafayette. I went to Austin, Baylor, every school in Texas, every big D1, SMU. I won MVP at them and everything. But you know what I'm saying, like the era I graduated in, that's when they were still kind of looking for the size. And I didn't, like you said, I ain't peak until like my second year in college.
Right.
So like I missed out, but like now, man, it was I can't remember his name. His last name is Prevo though. Goes to school in my hometown, Liberty Allo, 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? He had
offers.
D1 offers. He got like 26 right now. He just finished playing his first year of varsity. He's still a freshman. It's crazy.
Social media is definitely pushing. Like it's, you talk about hype. A lot of it is hype.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, for sure. I think like y'all said, if I lived in Texas and had this type of training or that type of push, seeing these stadiums, and like we used to go to practice and then hit McDonald's after. Like, we wasn't doing nothing extra. We didn't even think about, the league. But I think now, these athletes got a way bigger platform to take advantage. And with NIL deals, that shakes things up up a lot.
Sure.
So all right, you're a gifted athlete, you get that scholarship to ULM. When you get there, like because when I was there, I'm a couple years older than Holly. When I was there, Holly was not playing. And then I went to the NFL and I'm looking, keeping up with the stats, and obviously see you grow into a role in 100 yards here, 2 touchdowns here, another 100-yard game. That process from freshman to being a student athlete to when you started playing a lot, what was, that transition like?
So when I first got to Monroe, first of all, it was a culture shock because it was, Monroe.
Yeah.
It's ULM and then it's the hood.
And it's Monroe.
It's Monroe.
Juella Street.
Yeah. I'm like, man, goodness gracious. But when I first got to ULM, I was fat I had I don't know if I should say fat, bro. I was overweight. I was overweight. I just really my work ethic wasn't there.
Yeah.
But as time went, I actually started getting around y'all, Kenzie, Caesar. Started getting around some dogs. So it's like, dang man, if I lose a couple of pounds, I can start. I can start doing something. And that's literally what happened though. Got around some people that's really working. I'm really big on if you get around what you want to be or you get around something that you're pushing towards, you'll become it.
Okay.
Right. So at the end of the day, I started getting around some people that were real receivers because I really ain't just play receiver like that. I was an athlete, so I was, I didn't play receiver like that. So, but with Coach Nick, getting around the right people, man, we started working, things started changing.
Cool. So, and I'm sure that wave of athletes that I was included in going pro probably for all of y'all made it dang, this is kind of reality. Because when I came in, nobody was going pro. So we were that first wave. But you said something there. You said you're really big on getting around people that you want to be like or emulate. Was that just in sports, or do you carry that day to day?
So I carry that day to day. It's funny because I know I'm kind of fast forwarding, but even when I came out to here first, when I first got into the mortgage industry, I basically worked in a call center. And it's basically you just inbound calls, things of that nature. But man, I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to I didn't even have a mortgage. I don't even got a house,
Yeah.
So it's at the time I'm like, dang, how can I even explain? But then you get on the floor and it's dang, I'm hearing people talk. That talk, and it's dang, okay, this guy, but this guy, he the top on the floor, and I'm listening to him, and it's hitting me. So it was the same thing on the field. Kenzie had the releases, so literally I would watch Kenzie and be like, hey, what you do right here? How you? And literally as time went, I'm like, dang, ain't nobody pressing me no more, because it's you start getting the releases. So it's I'm really big on that, man. You start being around the people you want to emulate, you want to be like. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be like somebody.
No, for sure. I tell you all the time, I admire, how you carry yourself in life, just in general, with your marriage, how you handle business, how you kind of went from, like you told me earlier, and we'll get there, but from the couch to, excelling in the industry that you're in. And same with Chaz. I admire the grind, the grit, the hustle. Some of that, I feel like if I didn't go to the league, I would have needed to be around a friend like you who has that go-getter mentality, you know what I'm saying? So to you, Chaz, what's your approach when it comes to trying to achieve whatever it is in life? We know Holly wants to get around top achievers and kind of get that, real experience or what is it? Mental reps, right? They call it in sports. Yeah. What's your approach with everything?
I was actually just about to say that, just, getting the mental reps. I was going to ask you guys, what's something that, y'all have taken from football and still apply it to, and that's my one thing is just being able to sit back. All right, you remember hearing the coach be like, when you're not in, get your mental reps. Keep watching, make sure you're seeing the mistakes that people make. So me, we talk about if I want to start something new, I just sit back and just watch everybody for a little bit, and then see what they're doing good, seeing what's not working, and then just taking notes and applying. Okay, let me try this. So I think for me it's just probably just sitting back, being observing for a little bit, and then applying some things that I see, and just going full swing with it after that.
See, I think I'm the person, I just jump in, and I'm the person that I don't mind being the guinea pig. Yeah. I'll be jumping in hey, y'all, no, don't do that. Don't do it. It's messed up. We had a moment, Holly wanted to get a truck. I kept telling him, Holly, don't get a truck. I don't know how things are right now. Yeah. He's like, but it's not going to change. And a few months later, everything changed. He's like, man, I'm glad I didn't get that truck. Nah, that's dope. So moving forward, so you excel in football. Did you try to go pro, or how did that look like?
There was too much stuff going on. Coach Barry and them got fired, man, and then the year after, man, I was just I'm ready to go. Yeah. I was just ready to go.
Were you burnt out on football?
Yeah, I was mentally gone. I was mentally gone. It wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
So it was man, I just want to find something else. I didn't know what else. You still Man, I've been playing football since the second grade. Right. You know, so like that was literally everything. That's all I knew. So like once I was mentally going with that, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wasn't going to force football just because that was what I was doing.
So you graduated, and then did you join the workforce immediately, or what did that look like? Because I know we got a lot of people who like, it has to go perfect. I got to graduate, and then I need to have my job already lined up. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't work like that for a lot of people. So how did that look like for you?
So great question, bro. So actually, my job just worked out like that because literally first off, I didn't go looking for like a W-2 job. I went and looked for a commission because what I did know was commission, like with the environment, like, I don't know, I just wanted to have that sales environment, like just like, you know, just on the floor, like competition, things of that nature. But basically, man, I went and interviewed at what was Nation Star then, and like I had left, so I left ULM. That next week, I was out here in Dallas. I went and interviewed at Nation Star. How I got on was my sister actually worked at Nation Star, and she was just like, she was in servicing, and she actually like went out and ate and met this guy that was a loan officer, and you know she was like, okay, and she basically told me, she's like, you should try to be a loan officer. I was like, bet. So I literally went interviewed and got the job like the same day. So I was like, dang, like this was up, like, you know. So it was crazy because like I was thinking like, dang, this is perfect. But like, man, that first year, golly, like Courtney will tell you, man, like it was so many times like, hey, baby, I'm about to quit. Like this ain't it, you know. So, but it worked out. It worked out like that.
So for you, Chaz, when you left UNT, how did that look for you? Because obviously for me, I just went pro. Yeah. So I'm always interested in these stories. So I'm like, what would life have been like? And I always, for y'all who don't see in the camera, my best friend Ramon is here. But I always tell Ramon, like, you got your degree, then climbed, and now you're successful in your company. Me going out the league and then coming in at 26, 27, I would jump straight into entrepreneurship. Yeah. What did leaving university look like for you?
So for me, it was it wasn't even kind of like a choice. It was kind of by force. Like I had a lot of personal stuff that was going on as far as like with my brother and everything. I know we've talked about that. But I had a brother that was fighting an appeal. He had a life sentence he was facing. So ended up winning an appeal. So, but like, you 20 years old, you know what I'm saying? My brother basically raised me. So like, I'm worried about if I'm gonna ever get to see my brother again. So I'm not focused on school. I'm not really even worried about. I'm not worried about anything else. But what I did do though, so I stopped playing. I stopped playing ball. I hurt my back too. So that was kind of a big factor. And I took a business law class. I had to take an elective, so I was like, all right, maybe this will help out. I can learn something that can help with the appeal process. Right. Ended up getting real tight with the professor in there, and he would open up. He was the lawyer for the school for UNT. So at the end of every class, he'd be like, if you have any type of law questions, saying you can ask him, and I'll answer them.
So you was doing that to help your brother?
To help my brother.
Man, dang.
So
that's like some movie stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It felt like it at the time. But I would, at the end of every class, I'd raise my hand. Hey, so if X, Y, Z happened, so one day I asked a question and he didn't answer. He was like, stay at the class. And I'm like,
it's like, what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to defend here?
So he asked me, he was like, so what's really going on? And I was like, I explained it to him. He was like, all right, bring me as much information about the case as you can. So I brought him everything I had, sent it to him. And a week later he was like, because this happened, they charged him with this. You guys could say this in your appeal case, and you should win it. Ended up telling the attorneys that. And that's the basis we wanted to appeal off of. And it was the first time somebody had won one in Arkansas in like 40 years. So
you a lawyer.
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Paralegal.
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed.
But just to go along with that, so like that's what I was really, mainly focused on. And of course, I started like Chronicle Productions. So I'm 20 years old. After that dried up and got out the way, I was able to kind of like focus on my business. So I'm 20 years old making $5,000-$6,000 a month, and this is the first time it's happened. So I'm I'm feeling great, and so I wouldn't really. And then it wasn't until like the pandemic to where it was like, all right, everything slowed down. It was like I kind of miss football, you know what I mean? And had to go through that, fight that depression, and just really fight myself out of it. But I didn't have, it wasn't like you say perfect. I didn't have a plan. I just kind of felt my way through it, and ended up where we are right now, the streets.
No doubt.
I don't think people understand how much losing a sport for any athlete is after you done put so much time and energy into it.
Most definitely.
And then it's just taken away. I think I said one time, like, even like in the NFL, when you're done, you've already went another 4 or 5 years after college where most people are finishing. So you're that much further behind.
Right.
And so it could be tough, but I think we're all doing pretty good at, moving forward and getting around each other. We, be around people who you want to be like, and then you end up attracting people you want to be like. Mm-hmm. So, all right, so you get into the mortgage industry as a loan officer. Mm-hmm. That's where you started. And are you like cold calling? Because you said something about you wanted to do commissions, and most people want to stay away from commissions. Mm-hmm. So what about getting into a commission field attracted you, or that made you know you wanted to do that?
Well, I just knew, like, when I was looking for jobs, like, the salary jobs wasn't, it was only so far I was going to get with just looking at what they were offering from that standpoint. But then, like, I was looking at what you could get, with commission jobs, what they're expecting you to get after your first year, after, so that's like really attracted me from that standpoint. What I didn't understand is like how much work, it really take a lot of work to get to that, Mm-hmm. So luckily, another thing was a lot of people don't have, like, because my sisters live out here, so both, like, I was living with my sister at the time, but a lot of people, when they move out, they don't have like somebody they can come just move in with like that. So but I did, so, and I don't have no kids, so it was like why not try,
Can't go broke or not paying rent.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm good. I'm living on the couch. I'm good. But then, like, I started feeling, it's crazy because we was on a ramp up when I first got there. We was on a ramp up, which is basically we was getting like, I think it was like $2,000 every 2 weeks or something like that. And I'm like, this, I'm like, this pale every 2 weeks. But then, like, what I didn't understand is after 4 months, so they have you on a ramp up basically until you pass your test and become a loan officer. And then they keep you on for another month after that. So after pretty much 4 months, you're not on ramp up anymore. You're on 100% commission. And by that time, they're expecting your loans to start funding. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any loans. Like, it's like
that ramp up had you.
I'm going into work. I'm leaving at 5. I'm coming back, get paid on Friday, blowing it. Yeah. Like, it wasn't registering.
So ramp up is kind of like a fixed pay until you get going into commission.
Right.
Okay, so you're making these cold calls to people who, like, you get leads from, who potentially want to purchase a house, and then you close the deal. Did you learn sales before that, or was that kind of where you learned your sales?
That's where I learned, man. We got on the floor. We were making cold calls, having inbound calls. But that's where I learned, like, just literally the reps, talking to people, learning different tones, really understanding how to listen and then get down to what's really wrong, So that's where I learned that, man. But it literally just took, like I said, being around people and taking the reps on actually just really listening, bro. Because, like, the thing about that I had to learn with mortgage is, like, at first I was in it, I'm like, man, I can make a lot of money. Like, but I mean, I can still do that. But at the same time, Like now I'm like, dang, I can help people. Like I can really help people. Like you would be surprised on how many people you talk to. And if you really like paying off a lot of debt or get them into that house, whatever the case may be, like people start crying. Like it's like literally like something that literally is life changing. Like it's fulfilling to, you know. So it just felt good to start being able to actually help people.
Yeah. So we got Chaz, who's 24. Holly,
29.
I'm 30. So I purchased my house at 27. You purchased yours like last year, right? Or Chaz, have you started to think about that yet? And then where I want to go from there is, Holly, being a mortgage professional, what would you say to a 24 to 26 year old who may not be thinking about it yet, or who may have it on their mind and kind of don't know, what to do? So first, I want to go, Chaz. Have you started thinking about purchasing a property yet?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because just all us being in our fields, whatever, especially being an entrepreneur, you start thinking about dollars and cents, and it just doesn't make sense to be paying rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially for where I'm staying currently. So like every at the beginning of every month, I'm like, all right, I need to go ahead and try and start figuring out how I can, assume some type of property. But that is a problem because you hear about all these programs like with Bank of America that's coming out, and then you hear about like all the people from California moving here and it's making the housing market bad. So I've always just kind of been trying to sit back and take those mental reps, people that I have seen buying houses, and people I know a lot of real estate agents too. So like I just kind of see what they are putting out. So but all in all, I'm still kind of lost. So
Right. What I would say, like with just like where we are today, man, we are in one of the top 5 hottest markets in the United States.
Yeah.
Right. So like when it comes to like values, things of that nature, like that's not gonna change. Like when you think about it, like over time from time, like where housing prices were in 2017 when I first moved down here to now. Like people talk about a crash, but I mean, they're not going to go back to where they were in 2017, right? So, and then when you look at it from 2023 to 2030, they're going to be even more at 2030. So what I'm saying is it's always a good time to buy. It's always a good time to look into buying. Even if you don't see it as it being your primary residence, it's still a good time to buy. I mean, me personally, like investment wise, like I have 2 rentals in Arkansas. I did Arkansas because my dollar goes longer in Arkansas, right? However, like I got those before I actually got my house, right? So, and that was just because I really didn't know exactly what I was doing. It's just like I was like, man, times are good. Might as well get something, and it worked out. So, but when it comes to actually purchasing, what I always say is like, it's not as hard as you think. Like if you have your ducks in a row, you filed your taxes, you have some money in the bank, look into it. And then especially in your case, you hear a bunch about like house hacking, which is like you can buy a duplex or a triplex or a quad, still get solid pricing, and just have the people pay your mortgage, right? So you're making money. You got 2-3 units rented out, right? And you're making money while you're living free. So I remember I brought that up to Courtney. She said, "What?" No, she wasn't with it at all.
No, I can understand Courtney's side, and for y'all, Courtney is Holly's wife. Shout out to Courtney. But for somebody who's young, and has their ducks in a row, has everything you just mentioned, that would probably be, and if I could go back, although I had a family, I probably still would go that way. I had a family really young, so before I was even thinking about it. But if you could generate revenue, now you got that property, then you could use what we were talking about at the gym this morning, the equity to put towards your single family home.
Right.
But you mentioned you have 2 rental properties.
Right.
So do you label yourself a real estate investor yet?
Nah, I feel like I got some time to go.
Okay.
I got some time to go.
What's your goal as far as rentals go? Like what made you get into that? Was it being in the mortgage industry and kind of understanding you could do it, or did you do it even before you really understood what was going on?
Nah, man, I got into being in the mortgage industry. I started listening to different podcasts like Dave Ramsey. Then I started listening to Bigger Pockets, and I started listening to just hearing what they were talking about. And some individuals I was working with started talking about how they were looking into getting investment properties. So I mean, I was like, why not take a look and see what I can actually get done, and see if I can get one myself. But it really wasn't. I still like it's crazy, man, because it doesn't matter how long you're in mortgage. Mortgage is always going to be something new, right? So you always learning, even in the mortgage side of things, you're always learning about what the market's doing. Like everything's changing. So like even though I was doing mortgages, it was still new for me when I went and bought it, because I was like, okay, because I was excited too. So I'm like, dang, I'm buying the property. Like this stuff is crazy, So, but it's definitely something that's not harder than what people try to make it. It's a very like, do this, do that, and you can get this done, right? So yeah, man.
Nah, that's crazy because that's exactly how I got my house. I was recovering from a broken leg. I was living in an apartment in Dallas, and I was going to MJP every morning with a completely broken leg. So I just started looking online about buying a house, and I submitted a little bit of information like on the landing page, and the dude kept calling me. I was like, man, what this dude want? He called. He's like, hey, I seen you submitted some information. If you have your ducks in a row, if you have your tax returns, proof of employment, then we could work with you. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I got that right here on the file. Sent it to him. He's like, okay, you're pre-approved for this much. And I was like, oh, for real? I was like, all right, well, now let's go look at how. We weren't even thinking about really getting a house. And so we ended up getting the crib. Now we got a good amount of equity from COVID and everything. Mm-hmm. But going back to you two, Chaz, what I heard you saying was, you hear about the people coming from Cali. You see stuff about the market is not a good time. What that sounds like is you getting a lot of your information. Like myself, I see that on social media. Right. Mm-hmm. And then so on Holly's side, as in regards to these interest rates, what would you tell a person who's on the fence and that could probably scare off the fence when it comes to purchasing?
So like when I'm explaining interest rates to individuals, I really kind of disregard the interest rate and I focus more so on the payment. Like if the payment makes sense, like the interest rate is just the interest rate. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like you could always refinance. You can always, especially if you're like looking at it as like an investment, like you are going to make sure that this is covered by your renter. So at the end of the day, you're not even going to be paying it if this is going to become your investment property. But if this is your primary residence at the moment, if the payment makes sense with what you're trying to get accomplished, then the interest rate is the interest rate. I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy to me how many people like they buy cars, they don't even think twice. Can have an 8% on a $60,000 car, can go spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on a credit card, 20% on a credit card. Yeah. That's a lot of percent when you start looking at it, right? So people don't even think twice about it. But however, something that you can actually touch is tangible. You're actually going to profit off of it, right? They don't want to deal with it. And the thing about it, when you look over time, like even when I first got into the mortgage industry, interest rates were in the 4s, right? Once we got to 2018, interest rates hit 6%. So this is recent, like that's not too long ago. And then we have a pandemic and then that's what happens. But that's not that's not real. That's not like rates aren't really like that, right?
Yeah, it's an anomaly.
Yeah, exactly. However, that 4, that 3, those are pretty solid areas that you could potentially see rates get back to. But then again, that goes back to what I said earlier. Like, let's say rates don't go back there. I'll tell you what will happen. Prices will continue to rise. Yeah.
So there's this saying, and correct me if I'm wrong. It's like, is it buy the house and date, or marry the house and date the mortgage, or something?
Date the rate. Yeah,
date the rate. Okay, date the rate. So pretty much what that's alluding to is get it because the cost of the house is going to continue to rise, and you can always refi, like you said, and get that interest rate down. Okay, that's dope. I'm sure a lot of people need to hear that because like I mentioned, I see all the news on social media, and like you saying, in 2017 and 18, rates were a little higher, but the microscope wasn't on it, so people weren't in a frenzy. And now when we see it 2 or 3 times on Instagram, then we like, oh well, it's not the time. Let me check out.
Right.
Although house prices have dropped.
Right.
So, okay.
So as far as like the actual like business of it, so like let's say we got some viewers that's like on the fence about becoming a real estate agent, or now they watched this, heard you talk about going into the mortgage industry. How would you guide them to make that decision?
I would say, man, if you're thinking about going into the mortgage industry, just go into the industry with the intent to actually try to help people, and you will become very successful at what you do. Like if you're genuinely trying to help people, whether it's save the money on a monthly basis, whether it's get them into that new house, whether it's get them cash so they can invest, whatever the case, whatever rabbit hole you want to go down in that industry, I would say literally come with the intent to help. Because if you do, you'll be a winner. So if you're a helper, if you're a person that likes to serve people from that standpoint, I mean, I feel like it will be a great avenue for you.
Yeah. So you said have your ducks in a row. You said it's not harder than people make it seem. Yeah. Is there any type of like consulting or guidance that you offer or are thinking about offering to kind of assist people? Like, let's say I'm somebody who doesn't know. Like, can I come to Holly and get some information? Have you offered that or thought about that at all?
Right. No, yeah, I've done seminars, first time home buyer seminars. Okay. People can come in, they can, ask questions free. It's free. We even do raffles where we we giving stuff to you. but no, I've done that to offer, information so people understand that, as long as, like I said, as long as you're handling your business, you can get this accomplished. And also like, we understand that it might not even be right now, right? It might be something that's 6-8 months, a year down the road. However, it's good to speak to somebody like a professional as myself to get an idea, right? Because a lot of individuals I speak with, it's people like, man, I thought I had to put down 10, 15%. I'm like, no, you're first 3%, right? 3.5%. Right. Or I didn't think that I made enough money. Man, you make $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, you good. Right. Or like some people don't even know about down payment. It's a lot of things that you don't know about that you might be Xing yourself out of just because you don't think you're in the right situation. But you never know. I mean, you could be.
Yeah. So they got to seek. And that was me. I didn't know. I just was clicking around. I'd never even thought about seeking knowledge or attending a seminar. I don't even know if people were, doing them. I just was clueless pretty much. Right. And so I think a lot of people out there probably are in that boat of just, it's not possible for me, but don't even know why they're saying it's not possible for them. So you do those seminars. Okay, cool. So what we'll do is the next one you have, we'll make sure we get the flyer, make sure we post it and push
it. Appreciate it.
Make sure people know, where to attend. So they can attend virtually? Perfect.
Yes, sir.
So when it comes to the mortgage industry, how many states can y'all cover? Is there a limit or how does that work?
So we cover all 50. My company covers all 50. We can do all 50 states.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was licensed in 23, but now I don't want to carry all those licenses anymore. So
you can do them through the company who will carry all those licenses.
So basically, like, if you wanted to use, we have somebody in the company that can get you help something. You. Yeah, exactly. So.
Okay. So y'all working in a collaborative.
Yeah. It's a group effort.
Yeah. Collaborate, don't compete. Yeah. Hey, people, you'll make it much farther if you collaborate and stop trying to compete.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's dope. That was a nice little
that was like, hey, that's for real. That's for real.
So is there anything that we didn't, in that mortgage talk, that we didn't disclose that you would like people to know, or, some information that we might have missed?
Yeah. So I just would say anybody that's on the verge of potentially buying, even like I said, even if you have a longer timeline, I would say reach out. Reach out to somebody that could answer some questions for you. Hey, reach out to me. Reach out to me.
Where can they reach you at?
Hey, you can reach me at Walter Holly Mortgage on Instagram. Okay.
Walter Holly Mortgage.
reach out to me, and I would be happy to help assist, answer any questions you might have. And once again, like I said, like I had to learn not to be, pushy, anything of that nature. Like I literally am here. I'll answer questions for you, whatever the case may be, just so you can understand. It's literally very simple to get approved for a loan. All you need to know is what is it? Like, what are your steps? What is it for you, right? What does it take for you to get that accomplished? So I'll be happy here to help anybody answer those questions.
So for my people in trucking, I know we operate on a whole different type of spectrum, but at some point you got to think about life outside of that truck. So let's make sure we reach out to Holly. I'll continue to push them, make sure that you guys, with any questions, just don't go without a question unanswered, because that could be one of your biggest downfalls. Just assuming as opposed to, if it's going to be a no, go get a no from somebody who actually controls the no.
Yeah, don't count yourself out.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And same thing for the people my age that's 24 or younger that's, doing good things, got their head on straight, probably graduated college early or something like that, got to jump into a good job, and you feeling like, I'm too young. You're not.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Go ahead and do it.
And these rent rates, golly.
Man.
These rents is up there. So
rent is high. That's another thing, bro. Rent is high. So you talk about high interest rates. At least if something happens and you want to sell the property, you're gonna make it. Rent is high. You ain't getting that back.
Nothing back. No return.
Else. You ain't getting that back.
Cause it's killing me right now. That's why I look at it every month. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, rent ain't playing. Rent ain't playing, man.
So
man, that's dope. That's dope. So wrapping things up, Holly. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, we're part of that 550 workout crew, and this is kind of when we get into the motivational aspect. What is it about life that pushes you to wake up at 5 every morning and every morning Holly texts to the side eyes like, "Hey, what's up?" Yeah. We got a text back. Yep. If nobody reply in the next 10, 15 minutes, then that means we probably ain't going. But usually we're in there at least 4 times a week. Right, but anyways, what is it about life that kind of has you thinking on get around the people you want to be like? Waking up, holding yourself accountable to getting into workouts, coming here, sharing information, and like you said, wanting to help people. What is it that drives you?
Man, that's a good question. Man, I feel like growing up, I always had like an idea of like, I just want to find out. I just want to find out. Like, I grew up around a lot of people that like had something that I didn't have, right? Mm-hmm. Like, or that was able to do stuff I wasn't able to do, or just like my family wasn't able to do. But I got to experience it because I would go and it's like, dang, okay. And then like I said earlier, like you start realizing that if you want to obtain something, it's not really as hard as that you think it might be. Like your mind really be knocking you out of the groove because you're like, dang, I don't know if I can. Mm-hmm. But then you look back and you're like, dang, I really went and got that, right? So I think, man, just learning that like really anything is possible, and also just knowing that like tomorrow's not promised. From that standpoint, I lost my best friend. So I lost my best friend 2017, 2019, I lost my mama. In 2020, I lost my daddy. And it was like boom, 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 boom. And then you like, dang, bro, like, dang, like this just happened. Mm-hmm. Like, and it was like, it's crazy because you look at them and then you see like you just knew that they were a bright spirit, and it's like, dang, like they didn't even get to see like 70. My mama and daddy, they didn't get to see when me and Corey have kids. Like they didn't get to see the whole thing. So it's like, dang, you start realizing, okay, like life ain't even promised either. And I feel like I learned that young. So it's like, dang, I gotta do this. Like I gotta keep rolling and keep only making myself better, and trying to make my situation better.
Nah, I think, I tell you all the time, knowing that about you, I always say like, you're probably the most even-keeled person. Like with everything you just listed, you could expect somebody to either be mad all the time, to be ducked off, to let everything else dawn on them to the point where they can't do anything. Yet every day you're going after it. And you told me something, and I seen it on Instagram before, but you broke it down about being water. And so with all of the things that you went through and saying like, just be water, what does that mean to you?
Just flow. Like water flows. Even when you think about it, even when water gets jammed up after a while, it will break through and start to flow, you know? So when I say be water, like literally, I don't let too much get to me. I don't allow people to control how I feel. Like if I feel good, I feel good. If it's something wrong with me, it's something wrong with me. But it's not what you did. You didn't say nothing. You know him. Like people can say something to him. Like, all right, bro. Like I'm not. Man,
I'll be out there lashing out.
It don't get to me. It don't get to me. Because I feel like I have more control over if I have control over myself, then I can control my situation of where I want to go even more. Right. So I just try to be like water because water just flows, man. The only thing that controls water is water, you know?
So did your experiences kind of, my bad, Chaz. Did your experiences kind of shape that?
For sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Got you.
Yeah.
No question about it. Cause I mean, sure, you, like you said, man, you go through some stuff like that, you could either, you know, you gonna go down through there, you know?
On either side, you know, it's a lot of people that go through things that just, they try to use that as an excuse to be like terrible people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And,
for sure.
you know, just feeling like somebody, you know, the world owes them something. So like, you know, that's something I respect. Like, you know what I mean? I know he didn't kind of told me a little bit about you before that. And, you know what I mean? I can't even, you know, imagine going through some of the stuff that you've been through. And then you probably can't imagine going through some of the stuff that I've been through, you know, this wrong I've been through, you know. So, you know, it's something I always try to keep, like you say, water. Like I know what Bruce Lee had that quote, you know what I'm saying? Being formless, shapeless. And, you know, that's something I always kind of like keep in the back of my head. Like you said earlier too, like you always want to experience, like, you know, I'm not going to say I was the most blessed person growing up as a kid, but, you know, I had a car, but like it was, you know what I mean? But it was people on my team, like I had to get rides to at the practice every day. So like I always kind of like kept it like, you know, no matter how bad I thought my situation was, you know, somebody else got it worse. And, you know what I'm saying, just by, you know, it's somebody that's watching you that you probably don't even know it, that, you know, they know your story and they keep seeing that you got that smile on your face, that you working hard and stuff. And you know, you probably like their biggest motivation. So, you know, it's people that looked at me like that. You know, it's people that look at you like that. So, I keep that in the back of my head, like just to keep pushing no matter how you feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all that.
Sure.
So,
I always tell Ali, like, man, I look up to you. And I mean that. You're so, you know, I say it all the time. But like you said, the thing about those experiences and being able to do what you want in life, the one thing I know is not doing certain things definitely ain't gonna help you get there. So I might as well, I want to get up and work out because if I want a six pack, I know sitting on the couch not gonna get me there. I want to learn about business. I want to learn about how to grow other streams of income because I know not doing it is definitely not gonna get me to, you know, be able to help people. A lot of people think people want money for, you know, personal reasons or selfish gains, but one of the things that you got to understand is without resources, you can't help other people. You know, so imagine how much you could do if you were a millionaire or if you did have this extra stream of income that you could dedicate towards this Boys and Girls Clubs or towards this trip. For sure. And then also what you could do for yourself, what you could do for your family. And so for the people who are like, that's too much. I don't argue it anymore because their mind is already shaped. I'll just rather go out and do me and show. Because if they're saying that, that's probably because something in life then, you know, made them feel that way. But by being able to get around people who are doing it and kind of absorb some of that energy and say, okay, well, maybe that's not impossible. Let me learn a little bit more. We're able to, you know, open people's minds and help them expand in life. That's the goal. That's the whole thing about this podcast. And today we showed y'all, or we brought to y'all, Mortgage Professional, and we understand purchasing, whether it's an investment property, whether it's your personal residence, and especially investment property. If we're talking about multiple streams of income, that's something that I really want to get into on the investment property side. I was just talking to Ramon on the way, but you know, that's what this is about. You know, bringing people like yourself. As we come to a close, Chaz, you got anything?
First, you know, just want to appreciate you coming and dropping.
Appreciate it.
Definitely have to get you back on. And then I'm gonna be in contact with you. You had a seminar. I'm being there with my notebook. You know,
no doubt.
But you know, outside of that, you got anything? Get my little.
Oh yeah, I do actually. I do. So one more time, let's tell folks where to find you and on the social medias. Sound like an old person saying that on the social media, on the Facebook,
on the social medias. So on the social medias, you can find me at Walter Holly Mortgage on Instagram. That's preferably where I want you to go to ask me some questions. And I'll, like I said, I'll get to you and answer any questions that you might have.
Perfect. Well, in closing for me, appreciate you for coming on. I was late, but there was traffic.
Right.
Y'all was traffic.
Y'all got wifey calling me. I know I'm supposed to go eat some crab legs now.
I done messed up Courtney crab legs.
She called.
I'm sorry.
I know she gonna be like.
I got a video of the traffic, so we could prove it. But appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for coming on.
No
and
doubt.
Chaz,
I appreciate it.
Close us out.
And to take us home this week, what I got. So look. Saw this. I know I always say that, but it's something I've been living by too. And it said, chase passion, not perfection. Simple as that. You know what I mean?
So next episode, we're going to dig into what that means, because that could go a whole nother direction.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's it though. But, like again, appreciate you coming on.
No doubt, I appreciate it.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody that you want to see do better.
Absolutely.
We're going to keep doing this to you guys, man.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Hey, y'all be easy.